Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum students. I am Sabir Hasnan, your science subject teacher from grade 8. If you remember, in last video we discussed about the first 4 questions from the exercise chapter number 9, salts. Now our aim is to discuss question 5, 6 and 7 in detail from the exercise. Okay, magnesium sulfate can be made in the laboratory using the reaction between magnesium oxide, look, when magnesium oxide and sulfuric acid. So here magnesium oxide and sulfuric acid reacts together. Magnesium oxide is MgO, sulfuric acid is H2SO4, and they give us magnesium sulfate, and at the end we get water as well during the chemical reaction. So an excess of magnesium oxide added to warm sulfuric acid in the beaker. We add the excess amount of magnesium oxide in the sulfuric acid, in the warm sulfuric acid. They are saying few questions, and what are those questions? The first one, suggest the reason for heating the acid before the magnesium oxide is added. So if you remember the topic, in all those 4 topics in which we discussed about the 4 ways, the 4 ways through which we can make salt by using acid and different substances. Acid and alkalis, acid and metals, acid and carbonates, and acid and oxides, metal oxides. So when over there, this reaction belongs to when acid reacts with metal oxides. So for all those reactions, there were 4 steps we discussed in detail, and in those 4 steps, the first step was a very simple, in which we heat them. So actually the reason is, when we heat, we provide a heat, we add magnesium oxide in a warm sulfuric acid just to dissolve a magnesium oxide in a better way. So to dissolve a magnesium oxide in a better way, we provide heat. Okay, so second, why is the excess magnesium oxide is used? This was actually the second step of the reaction. In that second step we discussed, because all the acid used in that solution will be used, okay, so that all the solution is used up in the solution. It's actually the second step of the reaction. In the third part, they are saying, what would you remove any unreacted magnesium oxide from the mixture? So very simple, we again discussed this thing over there, and we discussed the third step. In third step, we remove the excess amount by using filtration process. So excess amount of magnesium oxide used by using filtration process. And at last, the fourth part, describe how would you obtain the crystal of magnesium sulfate from the solution. So this is actually the fourth step of the reaction. In that, actually what we did over there, the filtrate, after the filtration, in which we remove the excess amount, so that will be carefully heated to evaporate the water from that solution. So after removing the water through evaporation, then it is left cool, then left it for some time to cool down its temperature, and at the end we get crystals of magnesium sulfate will be formed. Now question number 6, sodium chloride is a common salt found in the sea and underground as rock salt. We already know about that. Now the few questions are, why would you think sodium chloride is called common salt? We already know about that, because it is found in the sea as well as in rock salt. That's why it's very common. Now name 2 chemicals that can be obtained from the electrolysis of the sodium chloride. If you remember, although there were three chemicals by different way we can produce: sodium hydroxide, chlorine, and we can consider we can make hydrogen gas as well, in which we discussed in the lecture when we were discussing this topic. So third one, in some part of the world water is pumped into the underground salt beds and back out again. Suggests a reason for this, and the reason was simple. I told you in the lecture, this is done to dissolve the salt and bring it to the surface again. Okay. And the fifth part, the Dead Sea contain, if you remember, 25 grams of salt is present in seawater, and in Dead Sea that contain 200 grams of salt per liter. So how would you suppose the Dead Sea got its name? Because it's so salty and nothing can live in it. Now come towards the fifth part. Describe how would you find out how much salt is there in a sample of seawater. And it's very simple. I told you, bring some water from the sea at your home and take a known amount of seawater in the beaker and evaporate it to dryness by heating. So just provide a heat to that water, and at the end we will get all the water will be evaporated, and we will get the remaining amount that will be actually salt left behind. Okay, so this is question number 6. Now let's move question. The following chemical salts used as fertilizers, like ammonium nitrate, calcium nitrate, ammonium phosphate, and ammonium sulfate, and potassium sulfate. These are 5 chemical salts which are used in fertilizer. The first part is, because fertilizers contain the essential element, which is nitrogen actually, that make plants to grow and to be healthy as well. So that's why fertilizers are used to make the plant healthy and grow fast. Okay, that's why they are used. Okay. Second, name 3 fertilizers that contain nitrogen. So look at the above 5 reactions. I mean names. From those names, whenever there would be a nitrate, definitely nitrogen would be present. From those 5 names, ammonium nitrate is there, calcium nitrate, and sodium chloride. In all 3, nitrogen will be present. In the third one, NPK fertilizers contain nitrogen, N nitrogen, P phosphorus, and potassium for K. Suggests a combination of salt from the above list, that it will be provided these 3 elements. So how these 3 elements present over there in NPK from the above list? Look, there would be ammonium nitrate, okay, ammonium phosphate, and potassium sulfate. So these are